Welcome, everyone. Good morning. It is a great morning to be in Lexington, and we have been waiting for this day for a long time. Now, COVID-19 is moving into our rearview mirror, with almost 60% of our entire adult population vaccinated. That's 18 and over, fully vaccinated here in Fayette County. So it is time to reopen government, offices, and facilities to the public. And while I'm glad that just about everything is opening, I must admit, getting the senior centers open is at the top of my list. Our senior citizens have really missed their friends and activities at the senior center. We've tried to bridge the gap with online classes, but nothing takes the place of in-person visits. I closed the senior centers on March 13th, 2020. It was one of the first steps I took to protect our community from COVID-19. As a registered nurse, I immediately knew the potential dangers of a new virus in facilities like the senior center. Our senior centers are going to reopen gradually, and seniors will find some changes. We ask for everyone's patience. There will be program changes as we gradually move forward, and we will keep everyone informed. Government offices will open to the public on June 11th. Government offices have been closed since March 23rd of 2020. We have worked hard to continue to provide all of our government services, but we know at times some people have been a little inconvenienced by the closure. The Urban County Council will resume in-person meetings on June 15th. There are a handful of government facilities that are not opening on June 11th or have limited hours. The pools have already reopened, but they are on a limited basis with limited hours because of a shortage of lifeguards. Tate's Creek Pool is closed this week because of a leak. And Parks and Rec golf courses are also open. Global Lex remains closed to the public while ventilation is improved. However, their work continues virtually. There's limited visitation, which will resume at the Fayette County Detention Center on July 6th. This virus has taken a lot from our community in the past 15 months. It infected 35,307 people in Fayette County. It caused the death of 316 of our neighbors, our friends, our colleagues, and family members. It robbed us of many traditions we treasure, and it took away some jobs and businesses. However, it has not taken away our spirit, and now we are moving forward full steam ahead. So this is great news. Now, I will take any questions, and I also, if you have questions about the jail, we have our director here, and if you have questions about the senior center, we have our director here, so we can answer whatever you have.
In order to reopen, people have to go back to work now. There's a lot of talk about how difficult that transition will be after being home for so long. Is the city doing anything to accommodate those who might have some, whether it's emotional or actual child care issues, things like that?
So Michael has asked if, as people come back to work in government, we are taking any measures to help people, and we have just published, our CAO just published our new policy on telecommuting. And we are division by division making decisions on whether people can work at home some. And some people are interested. It varies throughout government. Most people want to come back here, and we are doing everything we can to ensure their safety and their health And of course, we will forever have hand sanitizer, right? It's a good new habit.
Mayor, the statewide mask mandate ends next Friday. But the governor did say, depending on which county you're in, if there are regulations, you will still need to wear them, especially with businesses. And if you aren't vaccinated, it's recommended that you wear one. Will there be any policies in place? How will that be handled?
We will, the day we open to the public and open government, we will have some signage that says if you are not vaccinated, we recommend a mask. It will totally be up to the person's decision. And we know that we are getting very close here in Fayette County to community immunity, what used to be called herd immunity. And we're about 9 percentage points away from that. So we feel very comfortable that we'll be able to accommodate the public, and it will be on the honor system. If someone wants to wear a mask, they can wear a mask, particularly if they're not vaccinated. I will say there are currently people who are vaccinated who are still more comfortable in masks. So, that's an individual decision.
What are some of those government buildings that we might not be thinking of off the top of our heads that are open to the public that haven't been?
Well, this government building that we're in, the old Lafayette Hotel, as we fondly remember it, the Phoenix building, which houses a lot of our engineers and planning folks, and that will be open now. We've got centers throughout the city that do government work. They'll all be opened up. Fire stations, you will remember, they closed early on. And they'll be opened back up like they used to be. The police station, if you have to do business at the central sector downtown, you'll be able to go in there and do your business. So all those kinds of government buildings.
Will there be any requirement for city employees regarding vaccinations?
The question is, will there be any requirement for city employees regarding vaccinations? No. We are not requiring vaccinations.
Mayor, obviously, fingers crossed that this virus has done its toll here in the U.S., but there's no way to know yet. There are variants. How quickly could you transition if, God forbid, the numbers do spike again? What lessons have been learned?
Well, we've learned a lot of lessons this past year, and I have a wonderful team of people in government. It's all about teamwork and partnerships, and we were able, starting in March of last year, to transition very rapidly, make decisions quickly about what we needed to do, and I'm sure that we can do that again if there is an issue.
Senior Center.
Okay, great. Let's welcome Christy Stambaugh to the microphone. Senior Center questions.
I know, it's such an exciting day. Next Friday.
Yeah. So obviously they haven't been able to be in there with their activities and everything. What's it going to mean to them to be back?
Well, so the announcement happened from the governor, and so then we kept getting questions. And so right before I came, I talked to the people in our drive-through lunch line, and they were like, "You're kidding. We really get to come back in. Oh my gosh, we can't believe it." And so under the new guidelines that we've been given, we're going to be able to have drop-in. Initially, that was something that might not have been able to happen, so we're so excited that if a person just wants to be there, and we haven't watched people in so long, which is part of the beauty of the senior center, is you sit there in the lobby and you see someone you haven't seen in 20 years, and then you reconnect. And so we're really so excited. They're beyond excited.
Do you know what kind of changes you all are going to have to make?
Sure. One of the things that's being recommended that we're going to follow is still some social distancing. So really, we're going to just reduce classes of class sizes. There are some things that we still won't be able to do because of social distancing, but in time, we're going to be able to gradually add those things. To your point, as things prove safe, we'll be able to add more in. And so we're going to be doing it pretty gradually, but we're really, really excited just to have people back in the building.
For seniors, I don't want to speak about the entire population, but for some, the centers might be their only real outlet. Can you talk about how much they missed and how much it's needed?
Sure. So one of the beauties of all of our centers is we're pretty focused on health and wellness and physical activity and getting out and being with other people and having a meal and sharing a cup of coffee with a friend and just being together, not in your four walls, because what we've seen is that those who've stayed home, I talked to a person, we were scheduling vaccine appointments early in January and February, and a person was crying and she said, Christy, you don't know, I have not left my house or been with other people for 11 months. And so for her to come, I mean, when she came in, she introduced herself to me and she was crying and so thankful to get the vaccine for her so that she could come back out in the community. But the sense of community within a senior center, which is so beautiful because we have 4 decades of people. We have 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds, all coming together, sharing all of their experiences, enjoying something new, learning something new, sharing with us the things that they've done is everything.
Christy, piggybacking on what the mayor was asked earlier, will there be services provided? A lot of people, this has been an emotional year. There may be difficult for them to come back into group settings. What will be offered to them?
Sure. So we've had a really robust virtual opportunity, and through Lex TV, our TV station, which is available to anybody who subscribes to cable, we have 6 exercise classes every week, which have been wildly popular for those who are not connected by the internet. So when we reopen, we're still going to offer virtual classes. So anything that we can do easily, virtually, and live, we're going to try to do. With the spacing requirements, that makes it a little challenging, but I can say today we're going to have 4 group fitness classes starting Friday next week and 2 virtual classes that'll be offered on that day, plus all of the stuff that's still on Lex TV and YouTube. We have videoed countless. And then the satellite centers are going to be opening too, and they'll have exercise classes, and our classes will be transitioned in as well.
What's the excitement level of the staff?
Oh my gosh, can you hear it? You know, when we were virtual, I mean, our people were virtual. We did these drive-through cruise and schmoozes, and I have to tell you, for the morale of the people, us and the participants, that's why we do this, is to be with the people.
Other questions for Christy? You can see she's very passionate about our seniors and the work she does. Thank you, Christy. Anything else?
Can I ask a question about the jail?
Sure. Director Lisa Farmer is here. Welcome.
Just wanted to know what's going to be different on June 11th, especially for people, I guess, coming to visit, potentially somebody who's in there.
Yeah, first of all, I would just like to say thanks for the family for being patient with this. I know that's a big deal when they can't come and see their family members in the detention center. We will gradually be opening up our visitation policy. We're not going to open it full like we did before COVID, because we still have to be concerned about the amount of people that comes in and out of our jail. And of course, we have to put everybody's safety first. So we're going to start off with just 1 visit per inmate per week, and then review it later in the fall to see if we can open it up more.
What was it like trying to keep people COVID-free in such an enclosed environment?
It was stressful at moments. We had to make some changes on how we housed inmates when they came in, how to keep everybody quarantined, and then once we had an exposure, to test and track everyone that they had been around excuse me, while they were incarcerated, and then retest and then re-separate the positive and negative. So it was a struggle at points, but we were able to manage through it.
Have you had to change the setup as far as those who are vaccinated and unvaccinated?
No. We offer it to the inmates. It's not mandatory, so the ones that wanted it, we gave it to them, excuse me, but the ones that didn't want it, they still all housed together. It was just based on our classification, not on the ones that were vaccinated, ones that were not. We are probably close to about 350 that we gave to the inmates. And we get vaccines from the health department as they come available, and that's a process that we're still doing. The inmates that want it, once we get the vaccines in, we're still offering it to them.
Anything else? Okay,
Thank you.
Director Farmer. Thank you. Anything else? All right, thank you all so much. Great news. I wish I had some fireworks to shoot off, right?